at the same time. And there you go. And I think that, that's that tipping point that you sometimes reach where everything is lined up for you to make a decision. And Volenta was the right model for my business where I didn't want to manage a team. I didn't want to do the delivery or the support, which, as we know, Volenta brings all of that to us. I wanted to focus on our customers. I love solving problems, so I wanted to solve problems. And let me turn off some notifications, solve problems, and then have a team to back it up. So the Valenta model worked perfectly for me, where we have a pool of amazing resources that we can truly tap into to run our businesses. And AI just kind of happened to take off, and our journeys have led us from data to cloud to now AI. So it was just a pretty good natural transition into, what the up and coming technology is. So I think all in all, just timing worked out great. And here we are.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you're obviously very involved with female entrepreneurs and public policy, and then you're doing great work at Oracle as well. So it sounds like being a business development leader at Oracle kind of helped you be able to predict the future, and you saw how much of that was impacting like your clients, and so it naturally it makes sense that you would transition to this, right? Because you're so well versed in the cloud space at Oracle, right?
Yeah, yeah, and kind of seeing, where the organizations were going in the next 5 to 10 years as well. I think all of us have a little entrepreneur inside us that is just wanting to come out. And it was kind of that decision, if not now, then when, and just seeing, where it's all trending. And then with AI, it's just accelerated at the speed that things are happening. Like we talked about cloud adoption, and it took years, 15 years almost. And even now, it's not where we would have liked to see it. But then AI comes along and the adoption is happening at rates way faster. It's almost becoming that buzzword, and we don't want to. I need to turn off some of these notifications here. Sorry, my apologies. AI is also becoming a bit of a buzzword, but it's also real, right? It's no longer an experiment. It's no longer like, oh, what is this, thing? It's here to stay. It's something that we're using day in and day out in our businesses. And whether you're a CEO, you're an ops leader, you're an IT leader, whether you're a marketing leader, right? You're pretty much using AI in your day-to-day, and it's only getting accelerated. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to talk to you about how, we're going to use it and how we can help others,
Hmm.
entrepreneurs and businesses really adopt and use AI.
Yeah, so let's give them a sneak peek or a preview of what to expect from this LinkedIn Live. So it sounds like we'll be going through some of the trends and how it's impacting businesses and entrepreneurship. You're also going to talk about like some of the key points in kind of educating folks on AI, like you said, because it is a bit in the earlier stages, right? And some of the implications on how to leverage it to be more strategic or be more efficient. And then you'll talk about the operational efficiency, like how to streamline, how to be able to leverage it to create better customer experiences, um and then you'll share with us some of the trends and predictions of AI and how it's going to impact us, like business leaders, operation leaders, um and and anything else you would like to add to that?
I think we'll kind of flow through, and the idea here is to really help other businesses see where AI is today being implemented. Who are some of the leaders in this space, and then what does the future look like when it comes to AI? And then maybe as part of this webinar, we'll give a little freebie at the end
There you
to our,
go.
to those
Yes,
who
yes.
share their information with us.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right. So, yeah, why don't we kick it off? I think you put together some things to share with some of the folks watching, right?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to start off with let's introduce AI, not take for granted that everybody knows and understands AI, because this is what I've found most lacking. Like, people don't want to talk about it, but they're like, we really don't have an idea what artificial intelligence is. And so I always like to kind of start with the basics and then build upon that. So let's just describe AI. What is artificial intelligence? And it's truly just the ability of machines to be able to mimic human cognitive functions like learning and problem solving. And how does that happen? So one way is machine learning. AI can analyze vast amounts of data, right? The human brain is capable of storing and keeping that data, but that analysis is what really machine learning is. And that's how it translates into predictive analytics. That's how it translates into patterns. That's how it, kind of learns and automates tasks and optimizes processes through machine learning. And then data analysis is a big part of AI. We've, over the years, collected tons of data, but now how to make better sense of it, how to make it more where it helps us make decisions and we're not caught in that mounds of data at work, but how are we able to put it to good use? And that is now possible, making strategic decisions through AI. So that's kind of an intro to where AI is, what it means, and where are, kind of what is the current state of AI. Now, if we want to talk about, impacts on different industries, let's take finance. So AI is being used for fraud detection in finance. It's being used for personalized financial advice. It's used for algorithmic trading in finance. Manufacturing is using AI for more predictive maintenance, automating production lines, optimizing the supply chain process. In healthcare, it's really helping with medical diagnosis, drug discovery, and even personalized treatment plans that AI is able to offer, right? In retail, it's obviously, we know, with the customer experiences, product recommendations, and we'll kind of double click into all of these over the course of this webinar. And then in customer service, the 24/7 chatbots are automating the repetitive tasks, the personalized customer interaction. So 4.0 just ChatGPT 4.0 just dropped like what, 2 days ago? And it's phenomenal how much smarter it's gotten. I don't know how many of you have had conversations. We now have conversations, right? It's and Alexa is, I hope she doesn't start speaking back there, but that's your ultimate AI experience that you get to have every single day for anybody who uses and chooses to use those. So lots of industries are starting to use it, and AI is impacting.
Yeah, it's incredible, right? It's what used to take me, perhaps 30 minutes to write like a really, really thought out LinkedIn article for my newsletter, right? Like it would sometimes take me like an hour if I'm like really putting a lot of effort into it. Just the thinking work, the analysis of, maybe it's like, hey, can you help synthesize like this, and this? And just by using AI, I'm able to save probably 40 minutes to 45 minutes sometimes, and just the in terms of the synthesizing and the analysis, right? So even just for everyday use, like it has huge implications.
Absolutely. And I think as an entrepreneur, it's helped me so much in building my sales universe, in automating that sales universe. And I'm learning every single day how to get better at it. But the automation of things that we used to manually do, the creation of that marketing universe and tying it to a sales cycle has been phenomenal. And it's very interesting because it's a discovery every day, but I'm like, I don't know what entrepreneurs did before
Mm.
AI, because like you said, there is so much content creation we use it for. There is so much, we use it in our sales flow, in our everyday tasks. And at Valenta, we pretty much, our finance department is now fully using AI, because as we have more managing partners, the invoices, the whole ecosystem, being able to create that, reach out to managing partners on a monthly basis. So, we as an AI driven company are using it and
Mm.
refining it every day in our own business as well. So
And it sounds like you're, and personally for you, because you are very passionate about this, like you're also willing to try different platforms as well, right? Whether it's Bard or Gemini or Perplexity, right? So it just sounds like your way of thinking is you're always tinkering and you're always practicing and trying different things, right? So, what would you say to folks who are maybe not afraid, but they're a little bit hesitant of leveraging it, or they feel like it's ultimately it's gonna it's not gonna help me in terms of creativity wise, right? Because that is like probably one of the objections I hear the most, where it's like, well, I think AI is like stealing our jobs, and like there's a lot of people who are afraid of AI.
yeah, and we have to just change the mindset, right? Think about email. What, 25 years ago?
Mm,
We didn't have email, right? Email came along and it has made us more productive. I mean, sometimes not as productive now that, we have all the junk mail and spam sometimes, but email has made us connect in different ways. Then think about the web coming online, right? How that changed our lives significantly. So AI is nothing but a new tool that is now augmenting how you do your work, how you live your life, how you do your research. And that's the mindset we need to have. AI is truly not taking away our jobs. If anything, it's taking us away from doing the mundane tasks, the repetitive tasks, the soul-sucking
mm,
tasks, which like you don't want to do anyways, right?
mm,
That can be automated and actually leave room for more creative thinking. So
mm,
you can be away from your computers and laptops and actually think creatively, actually work with
mm,
your customers, and in the background, have an AI automation work and do the stuff that you would be spending hours doing because somebody's got to do the work.
mm,
Um, so I mean that's where, honestly, that's the mindset we need to adopt and just try it out, right? You have to,
mm,
all of these are free, like maybe not even like, I don't know, maybe in a couple of months even, people might just full on stop using Google because that's what I've done.
mm,
I've just gone
mm,
into, I get better answers and
mm,
better information if I'm using Gemini
mm,
versus Google, right? If I'm using Perplexity
mm.
or ChatGPT, any of those versus the regular search engines.
Well,
So it is, kind of hyper automation of the search engines as well, and the information, like I said,
mm,
is it's just getting better and better. Um, I mean, I do want to share examples of some big companies, right? Some major companies that are using AI and how they're using AI for people to start thinking of how they can adopt for the businesses. So let's take Walmart, for example, right? Again, we know it's a giant retailer. And one of their focus areas is inventory management and customer experience. And Walmart is utilizing AI for intelligent demand forecasting. Like think of any business that needs to forecast. It's optimizing their stock levels so that they're not overstocking and understocking. And they're also using chatbots to answer customer queries and personalize product recommendations. Any business can benefit from implementing AI by managing their inventory, right? That's the age-old problem. You overorder, underorder, maybe just not right. And maybe you know it well because you've been doing it for years, but how do you scale? How do you grow your revenue by bringing in automation? Um, Amazon, how's Amazon using AI? They're using it in their e-commerce again, their logistics and their recommendations. So if you go on Amazon, you like something, they will recommend similar things, right? That's basic AI. just automating the warehouse processes. AI
Mm,
is playing a big role in taking years and years of data on routes and things, and
mm,
how do you maximize and getting from like 2-day delivery to 1-day delivery to 2-hour delivery. That is all possible because of
mm,
everything that's been implemented using AI, right? To optimize those routes. Apple is, of course, using it, AI, and everybody uses Face ID. That's AI,
yeah.
right? So it's there in our everyday lives, right? Boeing is using it for predictive analytics. They're using it so that they can predict when when a part will go down, and they can minimize that so that they're ahead of the curve versus something breaks down and then they have to fix it. So these are just real world examples of how very large organizations are already implementing AI, and it's kind of something that we can learn and see that it's nothing that's just fallen out of the sky and it's a buzzword. It's actually being implemented and touching us on a daily basis.
And I know that you specialize with a lot of healthcare and more specifically the revenue life
Cycle man.
cycle management. Would you share a little bit about what you're seeing? Because I know that's like a big focus of yours, in addition to helping government organizations in the city as well.
Yeah, definitely. So revenue cycle management, for those who may not know, is it's essentially when you go into a doctor's office, you fill out that form. They take the intake form, and then that cycle ends when the physician actually gets paid. Now, there are multiple steps that are in that revenue cycle. And one of the biggest ones, which talking to physicians, has been denials, right? Denials is the biggest issue. And a lot of times, practices have refined that by learning, but you can actually teach AI some of that process. So to start off with, you can just automate the entire cycle, and then you can continue to refine it with AI, where it learns every time there's a denial, it takes in, understands why there was a denial, and next time how to prevent that denial. So with humans, you might have staff that is taking care of some of that. The staff leaves, somebody else comes in, this new person now has to learn. And whereas when you're teaching your system to do that, and there's human in the loop, right? It's not that
Mm,
humans are completely out of it. Humans continue to teach and train the system. Humans continue to interact with, with the staff and with your patients. So I'd rather, when I go into a doctor's office, get attention of the doctor, be able to
mm,
talk to them, be able to talk to the nurses instead of them jotting down. So the other thing
mm,
AI is doing is dictation, right?
mm,
Whatever the doctor is speaking, whatever they're telling you, instead of the doctor to like typing it up, looking away from you and typing it all in there on their laptops,
mm,
it can now listen and translate that
mm,
into dictation that can then be submitted. Um, and the doctor gives you the attention, right? So you don't
mm.
feel like, you've got 15 minutes in an office and all they're doing is typing up everything you're saying versus, AI taking those notes. So that's, I mean, it's completely disrupting healthcare and especially the revenue cycle, because medical billing and revenue cycle has forever been, an issue, and AI is certainly helping fine tune that.
And yeah, even for me, like when I use the AI note taking tool, it just helps me able to focus on the client instead of like me spending, and looking away and typing every like few seconds, right? So to your point, it allows me, like, just leveraging AI personally has allowed me to like be more present, like actually ask good questions and not be concerned with like, oh, I need to make sure I log in everything, right? So it's helped me a lot, and then it's able to synthesize the notes and give like the essence, like, okay, this was the main points, and I could look back at it 2 months later and I'll be able to remember and see the transcript versus where I would, oh, like I kind of forgot, and then I'm spending so much time like rewatching or just trying to figure out what I might have missed, from months ago.
Yeah, and I love that because I'm also the treasurer of my co-op. And so I'm the note taker. and being able to take those notes through AI, like you said, synthesize them, give it a tone where, I have to send it out to the entire
Mm,
board for approval. Like, I'm doing this as a volunteer basis. It's taking away from a lot of my time. And if I'm doing that work, it's like, okay, I just spent 3 hours taking notes, then making notes, and then sending it to the board. AI can
mm,
now take those notes, make them into, into put it in the format that I'd like to send, and send emails out to the board and say,
mm,
okay, ready for approval. There's also less human room for human error, right? How much like we
mm,
are multitasking. I want to get a word in there. I want to talk, I want to give my opinion to the board. But if I'm
mm,
taking notes, it takes away from me being fully into that meeting. So
mm.
it's certainly note taking is certainly one of the greatest feature for any business to implement into their day-to-day workflow.
And I know you're also very plugged into like the government work with a lot of the public policy work that you do. How do you see AI really changing and transforming government as well? Right, since I know that's also something that you're very plugged into in
Yeah.
your career.
I mean, one of the biggest use cases is IRS, right? We all know how paperwork heavy IRS is, how, what a pain it is, tax
Mm,
time. And IRS just, through the president's special, I'm trying to remember the name of this special approval they got. They've actually now gotten money to completely overhaul the IRS. And that's all
mm,
being done through AI automation, robotic process automation, like the
mm,
the intake of forms, the copying and pasting, the entering into the system, the logging into another system, approving it. There are so many repetitive tasks that can speed
mm,
up the entire process of how somebody gets paid on their tax return, or how it's flagged for things. I mean, these are things which are, which have been done for years, and there are policies in place that a robot, an AI robot, can go and look and check through and say, check, 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 and you know, and be better at fraud detection
mm,
than a human can be. Because again, with humans, people are trained at different levels. People, have, again, it's very mundane task. You're going through this all day long. Do you really want to do this? Or do you want to add more value as an, IRS employee, for you
mm,
be able to answer the questions that are important? Like 80%, this is what they said at one of the conferences I was, that 80% of the questions are the same questions. They're repetitive questions.
mm,
So do you really need to offshore that, get a person on the phone and
mm,
constantly answer the same question, or be able to provide self-help, whether it's through
mm,
just a chat, or whether it's actually a virtual, chat bot now that
mm,
those are available. Um, so government is, yes, very much looking at how AI is transforming, obviously the president's order on it, and even the city of New York, the mayor has his own AI charter. Um, but they still move at the speed of government. But what's happening is, there's a lot of committees being formed. There's a lot of roundtables happening. People, again, what I'm seeing is there's a lot more learning and training and happening. And that's where we need to really understand the basics. We need to get down to the use cases and be like, what am I trying to solve? So not use
mm,
AI as, oh, we've got to do something with AI, but step back and be like, what are we trying to solve, and what is the outcome we're trying to get at?
mm,
Figure out your data, right? That's the data piece is so important. It is, people, I've talked to people, they're like, yeah, we built an AI agent and it was crap. Yeah, because you didn't have the right data in place. So it is going to be
mm,
crap, because it's not a magic bullet that's going to just solve everything. You put in and, you overlay an AI chatbot on data which is not rich, which is not fully,
mm,
available. So how do you make sure, like at the data layer, that your data is in place before you start building?
mm.
Yeah. AI LLMs or, chatbots or anything else you build on there.
So what I'm hearing is it seems like just changing our mindset around AI as, hey, this is actually giving me a lot of time back into my day, like being open to like shifting our mindset instead of being fearful of it,
Mhm.
almost like embracing it because it's going to happen whether we like it or not, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, are you going to be at the forefront and being open to new ideas, like you said, email cloud at one point was this thing that people were afraid of, right, versus on-prem, and clearly cloud has but also what I'm hearing is if you have crappy data, then you're the foundation of it's going to be rocky, so it's not going to be as helpful. So how would you suggest for them to be more proactive about their data, and what steps would you recommend to be more diligent about that, having that strong foundation to work off of?
Yeah, yeah. So I want to describe it in a series of steps, right? If you have some AI initiatives that you want to, your board is saying, we want we want you to use AI in something, right? Well, how does it align to your business objectives? That's the first step, right? What are your business objectives? How is AI going to align to those business objectives? If your business objectives are generate more revenue, let's start with that, right? I want to generate more revenue. Now let's break it down and see what are some of the tasks which are repetitive. Your team is just doing mundane tasks that can be automated. Um, think data-driven, then you think data-driven decisions based on insights, right? That AI uncovers from mountains of that information. Like what insights do you currently have from your data? And what can you do with
Mm.
this data to improve your process? And so just pick that one first pain point, go down how you're going to solve that pain point, what is it going to need, and then bring in AI into this, right? Is your data ready for it? And then start scaling up. Now, I did mention, right, we might give a little webinar bonus. And what we at Valenta help you do is create an AI ready assessment. So we sit down with you, we understand your business objectives, we understand your day-to-day processes and how you do things, and then we give you an assessment of how AI ready are you, whether 50% of your processes can be converted to automation AI, or 70%, or maybe not at all, and right now you're not ready for it. So yeah, if you want, an AI assessment from Valenta, put in your email in the chat. We'll reach out to you, and we'll do that, a free AI readiness assessment because you joined the webinar today.
Awesome. Um, so would you share a little bit more about what you're seeing in terms of like AI readiness? Like what are some proactive steps that people could be taking to make sure they are ready? And what are some of the pitfalls, or what are some of the blind spots that they might not be thinking about when trying to get their organization more AI ready?
Yeah, so one of the pitfalls is, number one challenges is data, like I said, right? AI thrives on data. And a lot of businesses will lack high quality structured data to train their AI effectively. So how you solve for this is you identify and categorize your existing data. Then you consider supplementing it with third-party data resources if necessary, and even open data, right? So how do you merge your internal data with what's available through OpenAI, Perplexity? Like, there's multiple open resources of data, and that kind of merges and enriches your internal data with external data to really give you the data, the outcome that you're going to be looking for. Then there's the expertise gap, right? AI still requires implementing and managing. AI requires specialized solutions. And you have to invest in either upskilling your existing workforce, or you have to work with consultants like us who are, working on AI day in and day out. And how do we help build that capability with our support, right? We can start you on that journey, and then we can train you and help upskill your teams so they become citizen developers. And that's the beauty of AI, right? It doesn't need you to have hardcore skills to write code. You can also, as long as you understand the business and how it's run, a lot of it is now augmented by AI. And then people have unrealistic expectations, right? AI is not magic. It's not going to solve every problem that you have out there. So, like I said, start small, try to solve for a very specific problem, measure the outcomes, see, what the results were. They may not be perfect the first time. Iterate, refine, and get to a point where it starts meeting your expectations and actually starts delivering. The other big thing is ethics and bias. Historical data is certainly enriched with ethics and bias that we've historically had. So how do you train your models in a way that they are not biased? And how do you continue to refine them? I mean, again, a lot of work is going on in that field, especially, Anthropic is big on bias and, kind of building the models in a way that they're, trying to get that bias out of the system. But again, bias is very personal to your policies as well, how you run your businesses. And then change management. Change management is a big part. Like you said, people are afraid. People think AI is going to take away their jobs. People think it's eliminating roles. How do you manage the whole process as you introduce AI and automation and take somebody away from a job where their only job was day in and day out to create, Excel sheets and then create charts out of those Excel sheets. And if that is being automated, this person has 20, 30 years of experience knowing the business, right? Those Excel sheets were a tool, but this person knows the business. And how are you really able to get them to focus on things which are going to help your business grow while they're not doing those mundane tasks? So these are some of the challenges that you can avoid to avoid these common pitfalls and really set up your business for success.
Thank you for sharing. And what about operational efficiencies, right? You mentioned some of that. How do you suggest, or how does AI help companies, whether it's like reduce waste, streamline operations, optimize supply chain? Like, what are some ways that AI can help in that operational side of things?
And so operations is probably one of the biggest things that can benefit from the implementation of AI, right? Again, repeating myself, but it's the same thing, right? Identifying in your operations, identifying those highly repetitive, high volume tasks, right? Making data decisions based on historical data. And it also helps with processing high error, uh, higher rate processes, which generally, with AI, it's much more accurate, much more consistent because the human error is not, so operations is the one that benefits the most from AI because now you are pretty much, a lot of operations is repetitive. A lot of operations is built upon historical knowledge, which is like for AI, it's the perfect use case to be able to take that on. And then once you do the current state, then how does AI predict the future state? So if for years you've been running your operations a certain way and it's worked really well for you, but you have a consistent revenue of $1 million, how do you now get to $2 million by automating using AI to help you predict and reach out to your buyers or reach out to customers that you never reached out to before, because
Mm.
you kind of stayed in that universe. Those, that universe kept, was static, but now you want to grow that universe to 5x, 10x. AI can actually help you do that because it can build a model of likely customers. It can help you reach out and kind
Mm.
of, that circle of operations. It can help you with that.
That's helpful context. And how does the business leaders think about ROI, right? In terms of like, hey, let's say I spend, $250,000 on robots, and how do I think about quantifying that in terms of bringing that business case to the finance officers, for instance, right? If I'm in operations or supply chain or other departments within my organization.
So can you please repeat that because my phone started
Uh,
ringing?
how does one think? How do business leaders think about ROI in terms of like their return on investment in terms because this is different than what they're typically used to in terms of maybe hiring headcount to for certain processes and certain things.
Yeah, so I essentially it's no different than what you were doing before. It's just that now with, for example, RPA for with AI automation, you're able to get AI and automation to do the work of, for example, 20 people, right? And so those 20 people that were doing tasks which have now evolved to just repetitive, mundane tasks, the return on investment is going to be really it's going to be directly tied to your business outcomes. And what kind of a business outcome are you looking for, right?
Mm.
Are you looking for better customer support? And is that where you're going to tie your return on investment now when you do this investment? And how will it be measured? It's, again, it's those same KPIs that you've always had. It's how is your AI journey or AI transformation now aligning to those KPIs? So if my KPI is every time the
Mm.
customers come in, I want to give them the best customer experience. How will I use AI to use that and then measure it, right? Is AI able to give that customer experience, or are
Mm.
people saying, we don't want to talk to a chatbot, we want to talk to a
Mm.
human? Then you put in the human in the loop, right? But if you're seeing that the engagement and the time that is being freed up with your folks that are serving in customer service, um, how do that's kind of your return on investment.
Mm.
A good example is what we call agent assist, right? Which is think about somebody who's in customer support. They have to come in, they learn, for 6 months, they're put through this training. How much of that training do they retain? Now, if you're able to give them a tool where they don't have to go and search through their hundreds of PDFs and thousands of documents and things like that, where they put you on hold for 10 minutes, but they
Mm.
actually have an agent sitting with them, kind of their support, which I ask, when can you return this? How can I return this dress that I bought? They will ask the agent, how does she return the dress she bought? And it'll immediately give them an answer much faster by kind of going very quickly through all the existing data that they already have. So these guys didn't have to learn, they didn't have to call their manager, they didn't have to tap
Mm.
into somebody else because they're new on the job. So that itself is such a big return on investment when the speed with which your customer service reps are now trained and how
Mm.
quickly they're able to execute. And again, right, revenue generation is every business wants to make money. And how do you measure that your return on investment? So if you were able to have 5 salespeople reaching out to 50 customers a day, now you can
Mm.
scale that AI significantly, right? And you can reach out to a lot more customers. And how many of those convert, and how do you refine? How does AI continue to learn and refine and say 30% people open that email? So how do I tweak it so that 50% people will open that email next time? So that kind of learning and that kind of like sales strategy is very useful. And again, like we said, the really measurable one for companies like Walmart and Amazon is how quickly are they able to deliver, right? We almost take it for granted that things we order and things show up outside our door. Like AI has played a huge role. Automation's played a huge role in getting us to that point, and we are getting used to instant gratification. Now, I'm going to probably be more likely to order something and I'll end up ordering more because yay, I was sitting on my phone. I'm like, okay, throw this, throw this, throw this in my cart, and Instacart will have it outside my door in less than 2 hours. I'm going to be a happy customer. I'm going to be like, why should I waste my time in a grocery store when I can now there's human in the loop, right? There is somebody who's actually doing all of that shopping, delivering it. But how do you refine it where they go through the aisles and are able to pick up those things even faster? And all of this ecosystem, right? It's building every day. So I don't know if I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but real world examples and touch us make more sense when it comes to AI.
I'm also hearing like a paradigm shift in the way I think the way business leaders used to think. It's like, okay, this many headcount, but now it seems like more of a results in outcome based way of thinking instead of just throwing bodies at the problem. This sounds like it's more efficient, and from a resource management perspective, some of those bodies could be used for more strategic or more, like you said, client facing or more of that human touch. So it's not that the humans are completely eliminated, although sometimes that's the case, but it sounds like there's more of an emphasis on the outcome and the results, and less on just throwing man hours at problems, right?
I mean, think about the industrial revolution that happened in the 60s, right? A lot of automation in the factories and manufacturing happened. And businesses will always try to optimize, right? Their return on investment, how they're doing things. That didn't
Mm,
mean that people lost jobs. Well, yes, they did lose jobs, but it created better paying, higher quality jobs. If we were still in the 60s, you and I would probably be working at a factory floor, like making shoes or something, right?
mm,
Whereas that automation, factory automation, set us up to do higher level jobs, more strategic thinking.
mm,
Like on a personal level, I'd rather be spending as little time as possible with my computer doing, putting in stuff, and as much, more time going out there and actually meeting people, having dinners,
mm,
reading a book, while AI does some of those, frees up time. And we've talked about, as an entrepreneur, you need 72 hours in your day, right?
mm,
How do you now use AI to take on some of those hours and do the work for you?
mm.
So I think that's where we're seeing that, yes, it's shifting how we do work, but it's also allowing people to follow their passions
Mm.
because of what AI is able to offer as well. So we have to look at it that way.
This has been very insightful. For anyone who's listening or watching, who would be good referrals or good people that they can introduce you to in their networks if they're while they're out meeting people and going to networking events, etc. What should they be listening for when they think about us and reaching out to you or I?
I think anytime there is, an issue with repetitive tasks, um, at a scale, at a level which can be scaled, right? So if you are, if you just have people for the sake of people, you're not, again, like I said, you're not getting the return on your investment. Your revenue has been static year over year doing the same thing,
Hmm.
we can help you increase your revenue by understanding your existing process and how to infuse them with AI to build towards better revenue. If customer service is a challenge for you, if customer success is a challenge for you, we can have a conversation on how you can use AI to serve your customers better. Data is a big one. Again, I know we've been talking about this again and again, how crucial and essential data is to really your AI journey. And so if you're struggling with, mounds and mounds of data that's sitting and you're not really getting outcomes and analytics out of it, which is like,
Hmm.
oh, that makes sense to me. It doesn't make it, that means there's a problem there. If it doesn't make sense to you, if your data is not working for you right now, that's your biggest problem, in my opinion. And that's where we can truly help identify, understand how to utilize your data to really get the outcomes that you want, right? As a CEO, you want to wake up in the morning and what dashboards do you want to look at, which helps you run your business better, which helps you guide your teams better, and which frankly helps you talk to your, whether you are private equity funded, whether, you're a public company, like how do you answer to your investors? Um, and then, for private equity firms, we can be your second pair of eyes, really. As you acquire companies, as you're looking at how to run them more efficiently, we can really come in and do an analysis of where you can operationally get at a better place with these companies. Like that's what we
Hmm.
do, right? We help you save money in dollars, and we just don't do the consulting part. We take your end-to-end, we are on that end-to-end journey with you. You will, Davidson, you will come in, I will come in, we will talk and understand, and having, the experience of working with very large companies to small startups, we kind of understand the pain points, and understanding those pain points, but then using real data to give you an output and assessment saying, look, this is where you want to start your journey. And then actually having teams that can build and deliver on that and manage your automation for you as well. Like all of, so we take you through the full cycle of making
Hmm.
you successful. And that's what I would say, right? If you're struggling, you're like, yeah, my ops are just messed up. My
Hmm.
um we're making money, but we're not growing.
Hmm.
We have too many costs and not as much revenue. Let's talk.
Hmm. That's helpful. So it sounds like if there's stagnation, if there's that there's a possibility to for it to be better, or if folks are being reactive versus proactive, it seems like they're putting out fires all the time and they feel stagnant. That's a good indicator to reach out to us. And then also it sounds like, sometimes it is an initial investment up front, but long term it'll open up new revenue channels, create a better customer experience, and there could be cost savings alternatives as well that maybe they haven't thought about. But in speaking with us, there could be some new ideas or different ways of trying different things, right?
Yeah, and the other thing like I said, there's a lot of committees being formed, right? A lot of companies are like, let's get a committee together. And honestly, at larger companies, I've been
Mm.
part of those committees. And so you meet on a Friday afternoon, you kind of talk about what you read up just an hour before coming to that committee meeting so you can be smart. There'll be one person who will kind of take over the conversation in the room and, talk about things. Like talk to the experts, talk to the consultants that are living this day in and day out, and we could probably help you understand in an hour how your business can be transformed through AI, and actually guide those. We also have a training program, and out of my interactions, I'm now developing a training program to really get people in a room and understand where they can be on their AI journey, because this is where I'm seeing people struggle, right? Where,
Mm,
yeah, we want to do something with AI. We're not sure what to do with AI. So getting them in a room and helping them think through their own use cases, their own KPIs, and how
mm,
the use cases are going to align with the KPIs. And then they can take that with them and deliver. And 3 months later, we're coming in like, where are you? How much have you implemented? We can
mm,
actually measure and tell you that was this helpful? Was this useful? We can give you assessments to get your teams to start thinking about how they can start implementing AI. And it could be completely different for a law firm, and it could be completely different for a healthcare company and how they're doing it. But
mm,
the whole journey is getting your folks involved as well and getting them to think through how they're going to implement AI. Because again, AI is not a buzzword. It's not, some magic bullet. It's truly, a tool for you to now enable and empower your teams, as well as build your businesses and, get better returns on your investment.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sabina. This has been super insightful. And just seeing how to the mindset shift in terms of how to think about AI, and just being more open to different ways of doing more efficient, or just being committed to operational excellence. But then also, how to approach, if you are a business leader and if you are stagnant, like, definitely reach out to us. We would love to support you and growing your business. Any last minute words you want to say to the audience, anyone who's listening?
I would just say, give you some nuggets where you can use AI. Honestly, I think that's what important. Think about, like we said, operations, just to kind of summarize, right? We talked about operations and how you can use AI to automate tasks, predict failures, optimize your logistics, or even do lead generation, right? Marketing and sales. AI can do personalized recommendations. It can automate your marketing campaigns. It can identify, like we said, high value leads and boost conversion and customer satisfaction. In customer service, AI powered chatbots can handle just the basic inquiries 24/7. And that can free up your human agents for complex issues. That can free them up for, building better customer support and customer success. Product development is a very much up and coming use case for AI, right? We all have these ideas. You can actually use, there's,
Mm,
AI tools out there that help you identify the trends
mm,
and predict future needs. And you can use that to develop a full-on product that is, will sell in the market.
mm.
And again, AI is not a magic solution, and human expertise remains crucial in leveraging AI. So use it to not only empower your workforce, but also make better data-driven decisions. And ultimately, you want to transform your business for the future. And that's what we're all here for.
Amazing. So many use cases, so many, um it just shows, this is just the beginning. And to your point, it's not a magic bullet, right? It's not a buzzword. So it's like, instead of just talking about it and having committees and just kicking the can down the road, it's like, let's be proactive, let's take action, let's actually do something about it instead of just talking about it. So a lot of good takeaways. Yeah, it's clear your curiosity and your problem solving, and just the way your approach in terms of mindset and attitude is very inspiring. And how you're able to break it down into, like, simple ways so people can process it. And then, you're just your ability to add value to the marketplace and the world is inspiring. So, just thank you for doing this. And this is, part of the Valenta Insight series, season 2. So, this is going to be fun. We have Rich Purley and Nathan Morris, speaking next. So yeah, excited to continue to do this, and feel free to reach out to any of us if there's anything that if you want elaboration or if you want to book a meeting with us to learn more. We're both very active on LinkedIn. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, and I was just going to plug in with LinkedIn. I think you do too. We have a book a meeting link in our profile. So use that and put in a free AI assessment. And we'll help you take a look at how we can help your business journey as well. Thank you so much again, Davidson. You're such an awesome host.
Oh, appreciate it.
Right.
Okay, let me turn this on. Okay, cool. So I think yeah, this